So today we're going to make one of these oil return units so that you can flush your motor out. It's a very simple thing if you got a buddy with a lathe and a piece of aluminum, although you could make it out of a piece of steel if you don't have aluminum. But we're going to show you how to make this, and it'll be a handy rig for you to have when you're working on the bikes and you want to flush a system out for one reason or another. Whether something went through it and you're not sure, you want to flush it as much as you can, this is the way to do it. So we'll start trying to make this unit. So we've got our piece mounted in the lathe here. It's a 4-inch piece. I couldn't get my hands on a piece of 3, so it's going to require some whittling down. But the first thing I'm going to do is get our hole in the center of it. Now that we got that, we're going to take a 1/4-inch drill and drill a hole all the way through it, because on the other side I want to tap it and put a 5/16 nut in it, of course, so that I can put it on the back side and it enables me to tighten it and get the thing off. So the last drill was 11/16, and it's the tap drill size for a 3/4 inch fine. We're just going to face the front of it. So now that we've got that done, we're going to put our chuck back in, and we've put a little centerpiece on the chuck to line up with our tap. And we're going to set our tap in. We're going to set it right on the point there. We're slowly going to adjust that in as we go. A little bit of cutting oil. Keeping it on the center here, we know that we're going to get it straight in, which is what we want. Keep adjusting our center in so we know we're not getting out of line. Every couple turns, go back the other way to break your chips. We want a nice clean cut in there. Feels like we're bottomed out now on it. And there we go, we're in 3/4 of an inch. We've got our depth, the 3/4 inch fine tap, and we know that that's going to be straight with this surface, which is what we want when we go to screw it on the machine. So the next step is to cut this down to 3.175, I believe, is the outside diameter of an oil filter. We certainly can't use it that big, so we're just going to work our way at it and whittle it down. So we finished cutting our groove, and the one thing that I noticed looking through old oil filters is that the O-rings on them are not all the same. So when you go to make one, have the O-ring out of an old filter that you'll use for it. So what we've done is started our cut from the inside, because we can measure our oil filter to get the inside diameter, and slowly worked our way outside, trying it, little cut, trying it, until we can get the seal fit in as we want it. And there, now we're into depth and it's half the seal. So what we've got left to do is shave out the inside, tap our hole, drill a hole through it, tap it, and we'll show you that as we go along. But that's the easiest way to do it. I can't really give you any measurements, because they vary so much. But it's just something that you just got to take your time with. Start on the inside, keep moving out. Not necessarily to depth, but just so that you can get your O-ring to fit in there. So now that we've got that done, what we're going to do is put our cuts in the front so that we can get it ready to put our hole through and tap it out. So again, when we're cutting out the inside, the measurements aren't critical for any reason at all. We just want to make it so that the O-ring will fit into the piece and that the oil has room to go around. I'll show you in our example here. You can see how this is cut out, and that's to make room for the oil hole that the oil's got to go through. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Start by making some marks in it. So there you can see what we're doing here. I might go a little bit more there. So we're just going to keep working away on that and get it cut down to depth, and then we'll let you have a look when we got it where we want it. So there, we think we're in deep enough now. We're probably 1/4 of an inch deep in there. We want to make sure that we have room for our drill here, and we do, because this drill will be the hole through hole that'll feed the oil back out. So what we got to do now is just make some final little cuts there and clean it up, and then we're going to turn it around, decide what to do with it. Before we're done, we're just going to cut a couple little speed lines in there for looks. We're just going to measure in about 1/4 of an inch, certainly not critical. We've got it mounted here. We might as well put our 5/16 hole in there. We know it'll be square. And that looks like we got it. So now we'll tap it out for a pipe thread. We're going to put our 5/16 bolt in, and I'm going to liberally use some red Loctite, because once this bolt's in, we don't want it coming out. I decided to put a longer end, which is actually a vent tube, the crankcase vent for a shovel head. I just found with the short one, this might make it a little easier to get at and help screw the unit on. It never hurts to try new things. And it's in. Now our tool is ready to use on the bike. We can use this 5/16 nut to screw it in, or to help start it in place. We can also use this longer one, and then we'll just slide our hose on it when we're ready to do it. So there we go. We have our little unit for flushing out your oil. Anybody can make it. It's really time and patience. It's not a bunch of exact measurements on anything. It's just putting holes in, getting something for the oil thing to screw into. And there's a nice little handy tool for your shop. It's easy to use. And especially if you've had trouble with tensioners or anything like that, things like that that blow up. You can't, in the old days we used to pull a return line off and let it flush out, but the new bikes with the hard lines, it's pretty hard to do. So this makes a great addition. We'll show you a picture of it on our project bike there, just so you can have a look at it. Just get it just started on there nice and even, and then just spin it on. And if you want to give it a little tighten, you can always take a socket and put it on that, 9/16 or 1/2 inch, I mean.
And this is easy to put your line off and on, so you can run your line down. So it works pretty good.